you ever had or know somebody that has had an identity crisis? I had an acquaintance of mine that had this happen, and it's because they had an external identity concept in their brain about who they were. It was tied to their job. And when their job no longer exists, they lost themselves. And so today in this warm-up, I want to talk about the difference between what we call an internal identity versus an external identity. And many times when we have identity crisis, it's because the crisis is tied to something external that we have tied our value to, or we have validated who we are to, and it goes away and we're lost. And so I want you to think about this. So internal identity key points. If you want to establish a strong internal identity, it's self-defined core, right? It's rooted in personal values, character traits, and principles that you consciously choose and you develop, right? So you know who you are. It's stability through change. Maintains consistency regardless of external circumstances or life transitions, right? As we transition, you see people who say, well, I identify as being a father or a mother, right? And then all of a sudden their kids grow up and leave. And they're like, well, who am I now? Because I don't have that ability anymore. That was my identity, right? Intrinsic validation drives satisfaction and worth from alignment with personal standards rather than external metrics. Growth-oriented, this is a big one, views failures as learning opportunities rather than threats to your self-worth, right? When you have a challenge, you don't take it as a threat. You say, hey, it's an opportunity to learn. I love this one. Autonomous, less susceptible to manipulation through social pressures, marketing, or others' expectations on you, right? So you're not allowing the external world to change how you think and feel about yourself. It's transferable across contexts. This is a good one. Remains intact when moving between different environments, work, home, social settings, right? You still know who you are and how you show up. You're very resilient, right? You can take more on, and it's purpose-driven, guided by meaningful personal missions rather than societal definitions of success, right? What people tell me I'm worth versus what I tell myself I'm worth, okay? Versus the external identity. So this is what many people sometimes have. External identity is primarily based on roles, relationships, possessions, status, or recognition from others, right? That's how you validate who you are. It's conditional stability, different, vulnerable to disruption when external circumstances change. I lost my job, my kids moved out of the house, right? I no longer have that identity. Intrinsic validation requires consistent affirmation from other sources to maintain self-worth. That's a big one. Societal dependency, strongly influenced by others' perceptions and social comparisons, right? I let other people tell me what I'm worth as opposed to inside feeling that. Context sensitivity may shift dramatically between different environments based on status, right? In each of those environments. I'm vulnerable in many cases, susceptible to crisis when facing rejection, failure, loss, or status or role changes. And last but not least, recognition driven. This is a big one. Motivated by acquiring visible symbols of worth that others can acknowledge. Look at my car, look at my watch, look at my clothes, look at my house, right? That type of thing. Look at the title in my job. So my question for all of you in this warm-up today is, do you build your identity based on internal values and ideas? Or do you base your identity on what people see and how people look at you and how people judge you? And are you in that world where you are resilient, or are you vulnerable if there's change? I want you to think about it, okay? Think about how you identify yourself, and do you give yourself self-worth? Do you know who you are no matter where you are? Think about it. All right, everybody. Hey, if you know somebody needs to hear this, please share it with them. If you like what I do, please follow me. Make it a great day. Be awesome and help somebody. Talk to you later.